Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am so excited for today's video because we are going to be doing a true first impression of the new fragrance from Kilian, Old Fashioned. Now, this is the newest addition to the Liqueurs collection, which I absolutely love. Of course, you've probably heard of Angel Share. It's one of the most popular fragrances on the planet, but it also homes one of my all-time favorite men's fragrances, which is Apple Brandy on the Rocks. This new fragrance, Old Fashioned, is said to be more of an amber fougere style, and there have been some rumors going around that this is a re-release of a very popular discontinued fragrance from the house called Single Malt, because they do share some similar notes. So of course I have a sample of Single Malt and we'll do a comparison at the end, because I've never actually smelled Single Malt before, but I know that a lot of people really loved it. They were really sad when it was discontinued, and a lot of people are stoked that Old Fashioned shares a lot of notes with it. So let's go ahead and open it up and smell it. I really don't know quite what to expect, but I guess the only thing that I'm expecting is that it's going to be really good. Because I don't have many fragrances from the Liqueur collection, but honestly, I love them all. Roses on Ice is probably the next one that I need to buy. So we have pretty typical Kilian packaging here. This is what the box looks like. Let me open it up. It's a little misaligned, but it's okay. Things get shaked around in shipping sometimes. Here is the bottle. Beautiful. So the notes in Old Fashioned, of course, this whole collection is based around boozy notes. So this is going to have a really beautiful whiskey accord, along with wheat, Divana, cedar, immortelle, with styrax and tolu balsam. So definitely we have a little bit of resins in here. Let's just jump into it and smell it. I'm so excited. There's nothing better than a really well done boozy scent, especially for a man. All right, Erica, just stop talking. Let's spray it. Atomizer check. Just make the whole room smell like Old Fashioned. One more for good measure. Wow. Wow, in the air. I love it when a scent just kind of floats around in the air. Oh my gosh. This to me smells like a really rich, deep honey. It reminds me of something. Oh, wow. This is really, wow. First impression, something boozy. Definitely there's something boozy here, but I think that it's gonna come out more as it dries. I'm not really getting like a blast of whiskey. I'm getting a blast of this kind of like sweet, honeyed, ambery like resin. Definitely that tolu balsam is playing a huge role even in the opening here. I really like this. Wow, and that wheat note, it's interesting because most people, when they smell or they hear of the note of like wheat, they're not really gonna know exactly what that is. And I feel like if you go into, say, Sephora and smell this, you're not going to particularly think of wheat, but I can actually picture it in here. There is something a little bit dry and kind of plant-like in a way, but it's not green. It's really like a dry wheat, like exactly what you think of. Really interesting, kind of like a milled wheat mixed with cedar. Now as it's drying, wow, the woodiness is starting to come out even more. That really nice cedar, really rich cedar. Oh my gosh, can you tell that I'm getting excited over here smelling this? I just know this is going to be so beautiful for the fall. There's no way that Kilian could have ever put anything in this collection and it not be fabulous. And that's why I always, do my best to talk about Apple Brandy on the Rocks, and I should talk about others in the collection too, because it's just such a underrated collection from Kilian. Everyone focuses on Angel Share, but honestly, the whole collection is fantastic and there's so many hidden gems in there. And I've really been putting in the work the last 2 years to kind of get the word out about Apple Brandy on the Rocks. And from the feedback that I've gotten from my viewers and from, you guys leaving comments, is that you love Apple Brandy on the Rocks just as much as me. And this is really no exception. You can really feel that it has a place in this collection, and it is pretty different than everything else that we already have in the Liqueurs collection. It's really nice. It's not as sweet as Angel Share. Oh, this is really, really pretty, but there's something in here. I really think it's that kind of, it's a resin, but it's not so sweet, like a sweet kind of amber. It's that immortelle that's adding something that gives it a little bit of a challenging twist. The average person walking into like Sephora, they might smell it and think that there's something a little different and odd about it. I really think it's that immortelle. I think that it can be a little bit of a polarizing note for some people. I love it. I think that what it does in this fragrance is it adds a complexity and something that is unique. And so what I was saying about how it belongs in this collection too is that Angel Share is like this really rich, deep, like super sugary, sweet, boozy scent. Apple Brandy on the Rocks is a little bit different. There is sweetness in Apple Brandy on the Rocks, but it really is more of like a fruity sweetness with like a bright, crisp vodka. You can really distinguish the difference between that like light and dark liqueur note. And it's more like aromatic, better for the warmer weather if you want. It works in cold weather too. But this to me, it's kind of coming off in a middle ground. This could be perfectly unisex, but I feel like it's going to be a little bit masculine, not necessarily because of any like forwardly masculine notes in this scent, but just because it is very woody and it's not sweet. Like I get a very slight natural sweetness in here, but it's not like a sugary honey, like super honeyed sweet like Angel Share is. This is really beautiful. Honestly, as it's drying, it's not really changing that much. I'm not really seeing any like transformation. Really, it's more of those kind of like dry notes are coming out more in the whiskey too. Definitely I can feel more of a booziness. The woods are still kind of coming out even more. I feel like in this base, it's gonna be very woody. I don't really get anything green. I don't really get the Divana so much in here, but I'm getting a really beautiful kind of crisp resin. This is really pretty. I am so happy with this. Honestly, this is going to be a huge hit for the fall. This is the perfect time to be releasing this coming into the fall weather. This is cozy. This is very comforting. It just feels like something very just enveloping and happy, but very luxurious at the same time. It's not like your typical boozy, like whiskey type of scent. It feels very luxurious. And I'm not just saying that because it's Kilian. There's something about this, the way that the whiskey is combined with all these other notes that makes it feel dressy. It makes it feel a little more like you want to take it seriously, you know? I feel like sometimes some boozy, like super, like for Angel Share, for example, we're just gonna take everything back to Angel Share. You don't smell Angel Share and think like, oh, professional man, a working professional man. It smells very good. It does smell amazing, but it smells more casual, sweet, home for the holidays type of vibe. This is something that you could wear in a more important scenario. Really something. Okay, I want to quickly do a comparison with Single Malt because I'm very curious to see how this smells because there is a little bit of a difference in the notes. So I have this little sample pack here. You can see on the inside, we have a sample of Apple Brandy and Single Malt. Vintage. I actually have no idea how old this is, but let's go ahead and spray it. Not too much because this stuff is like liquid gold and I would hate to waste it. Yeah, they're really similar. They're really close. Yeah, pretty much the same thing, but I can tell a difference. I don't know if it's just because this sample has been probably macerating forever at this point, but the main difference between Single Malt and Old Fashioned is a plum note. Single Malt had a really popular, distinguished plum note, and I can smell it from the sample. It comes off a little bit sweeter, a little bit fruitier, but plummy. Definitely very plummy, like a purple kind of fruit. It's not in here. This doesn't have that fruity element in Old Fashioned. I don't know. I don't know if I could say they're the same exact thing. I would have to test them more, do more of a side-by-side comparison, test them on my skin. There's something a little bit sweeter about Single Malt to me. That plumminess is beautiful. It's going to scratch that itch for people that want Single Malt, but I don't think I can say that they're really the same exact thing. They're really close. We're talking like 95% the same, especially I think as this dries a little bit longer. that kind of plumminess will die down and you'll be left with the same exact scent. So essentially, from what I'm gathering here is that you're not gonna have the same opening. Really, really close. So if you miss single malt, you're in for a treat because it is back in old fashioned. They're both beautiful, really beautiful. But the single malt might be just a bit better. That plumminess is kind of like a make or break it type of note. The single malt to me feels more like there's something sweet fruity about it that makes it a little bit more wearable as a woman. Of course, old fashioned is going to be perfectly unisex. Anyone can wear this type of scent profile. It's not too masculine. It is really right there in the middle, androgynous. Anyone could wear it. But if you're a woman that likes angel share, you like very sweet scents, you're probably not going to like this so much. But if you want something that is right there on that unisex line, this is perfect. It just doesn't have that plum that single malt has, but super, super close. Maybe even like 99% the same, honestly, especially after like a couple minutes on the strip with single malt. It's kind of hard to go into too much detail on a first impression video, but yeah, it's not really changing so much. The scent profile is pretty much staying the same. I'm gonna go ahead and spray it on my skin and see how it goes. Why not get a little on skin test? This is truly gorgeous. Wow. This is something that I really would like to wear too, because I like sweet fragrances as a woman, of course, but generally most of the time, I do find myself reaching for more unisex, androgynous, not too sweet types of scents. And I do love woody fragrances, woody boozy scents. So when I heard that this was coming out, I was like, it's a no-brainer. Like I have to get it. Yeah, ooh, okay, on the skin, interesting. Whoa, pump the brakes, hold on a minute. Okay, so I don't know if I'm kind of like exposing myself here, but if you didn't know, I was a horse girl, pedal to the metal, full-blown 110% horse girl. When I was growing up, all I did was ride horses. I owned horses. When I was 18, I lived in Ocala, Florida and was a full-time horse trainer. Fun fact about me, on the skin, this smells, okay, it's dying down a little bit, thank God, but that first blast on the skin is it literally smelled like hay. Like horse hay, like the stuff that horses eat, horse hay. It was really, really distinguishable. It was like, took me right back to my teenage years, mucking stalls and being around horses. It is kind of dying down a little bit, but it is still there. Yeah, oh, it's still there. Wow, okay, you need to test this on your skin. Interesting. I didn't pick that up on the strip when I first tried it. Interesting. Very nostalgic for me. I still do like it. I need to test this one out, honestly. I really need to give it a full wear and see like how the people around me really react to me, but it's a little bit more, I don't want to say challenging because I really don't feel like this is challenging, but it is different, which is a great thing. We always appreciate nice, unique perfumery, something new coming out instead of just all these brands just photocopying one another, taking ideas from one another. I definitely don't think that I would compare this to anything else other than, of course, single malt. I feel like I could keep talking on and on and on and on about this, and I think that I need to wrap this up because it is just a first impression, but really, really interesting. So what I get from Old Fashioned is just a super unique, boozy, woody whiskey fragrance with a lot of amber, but those more natural notes, that immortelle and the wheat, they do play a very strong role in the scent in the background. So just know that going into it, and I would definitely recommend testing this on your skin if you go in store to try it, because there's definitely a different distribution and intensity of certain notes on my skin than how it was on the strip, which I'm actually pretty shocked about. But overall, I would rate this a solid 8 out of 10 on my first impression. It's very different. I really like the originality of it. There's definitely a necessity for this scent in the market, especially in the Kilian catalog, in the Liqueurs collection. So for that reason, I think it's a fantastic release. I'm going to test this out for the next week, wear it, try to ask some people what they think about it, test the longevity on it, even though I have a feeling that it's going to be completely beast mode, just like basically every fragrance in the Liqueurs collection. But guys, that was just my first impression review of the new fragrance from Kilian, Old Fashioned. And I really do think that everyone out there that loved single malt is going to be very excited to try this. There is definitely a very strong similarity between the two. So yeah, I think it's definitely worth testing out once it hits the shelves. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please leave a comment below if you're excited to try Old Fashioned. What is your favorite perfume from the Liqueurs collection? I would love to know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.